Welcome back to the Portal Bonanza podcast, brought to you by Hoop Scoot Media. We are back after a few-day hiatus. Had the Final Four games. Championship game is tonight, so that'll be a big one. So probably not going to be a podcast tomorrow that comes out, but probably a day after that or whatever. But yeah, Portal season officially begins. Like it's like we're all the Portal. Like after tonight, like that's just the main thing. But
hmm
yeah, but the college basketball world has been taken by storm because John Calipari is the new head coach at Arkansas, which is something I never thought would like actually happen. Even though there's always rumors that he's going to lead, there's always every offseason, like not necessarily him, but like all like the big time coaches.
We
There's
get
always some
rumors
like
somewhere.
crazy rumors, but like you never actually think they're going to happen. And then this is insane. Right now, he has one player on the roster, and that is Elohim, who's probably going to follow Must USC, considering he's from Southern California, I would assume. So he has a clean slate to work with, probably going to be adding some guys from the portal. He's not a big portal guy, but I think this will make him change, at least this year, if because he can't take all the freshmen. He might take all of his freshmen that he had committed at Kentucky, or at least a good chunk of them, but he's going to have to use the portal, and he has money to do so. It's going to be fun.
hmm That's for
So
sure.
now, and then now we have like the biggest job in the country, and Kentucky's open, and I don't really know which way they're going. Maybe Billy Donovan. This
That
if he's
was
gonna
that
if
was
he's
my
gonna take
favorite.
a job, if he's gonna take a job, this is the one. Like
Yeah,
he's always suggested every time like a big name job opens. I think they should. I
and he
think he
certainly
should take
does
a
need
job.
to take a step down.
Yeah. NBA and college aren't really like they don't really line up as good as you would think. Like if you're a good coach in one, doesn't really mean you're gonna be a good coach in other. Just yeah. College is a lot more about relationships. NBA is
Yeah,
a lot more about just being like the manager of the team.
no.
But yeah, um, we have a lot of commitments to get through. No like super huge names off the board. There's a lot of really solid high major players. A lot of commitments in general. Some very solid mid major players choosing your school as well. So yeah, first one, Dane Danger, Illinois big man. He is off to Memphis. This is an interesting fit, but Memphis has some money. I think he can be really good. So, and any thoughts?
Yeah, somewhat saw that coming, I guess, just from,
Yeah.
his scoring skill set. So,
Yes, very skilled around the rim. So should be a good piece for Memphis. Trayvon Spillers from Appalachian State. He is committed to Wake Forest. He's probably going to be like amazing next year because C Forbes likes to do that with transfers, and I think Spillers is a pretty solid player. Can really rebound, even though he's not huge. Um, very physical inside. Something that Wake Forest hasn't had a ton of recently. I know they do have Efton Reed right now still, but Spillers definitely gives them some
isn't
more.
he done? He's no eligibility
He
left,
has a
right?
year left, I know, because he was at LSU 2 years ago, then Gonzaga, then Wake for a year.
Right.
So
Right.
he's only been
Okay.
in college 3 years. But yeah, any takeaways from
No,
Spillers?
if they still have Afton, which I think I know he posted something, he's
I
talks of
I
going pro.
yeah. I think they can play together though.
But
I
yeah, no,
mean,
definitely. I actually don't hate it as long as
yeah.
Afton's your five.
Because I mean, App State played a lot of Spillers and Absent together,
For
and
sure.
um, Reed is more of an Absent type of player
hmm
in his size and stuff like that. Providence, they got Bensley Joseph, Miami combo guard. Not a ton to say about it. This is a pretty solid pickup. You're adding a guy that's been a proven solid high major player. Miami was down this year, but I think you could take this one.
Yeah. No, not
No
much to
complaints
say
from
about it,
me.
like you said.
Yeah. CJ Walker, UCF transfer, he is out to TCU. Really gives him some athleticism, physicality. Former five-star recruit back in the day. So I don't have any problems with this one. I think it's a pretty solid pickup. Another one's just like, yeah, it's pretty good, but
Yeah, it
nothing
fits
crazy.
what Dixon likes.
Yes, absolutely. DePaul got a few guys. First guy they got was Jacob Meyer, Coastal Carolina freshman, had a big year. Pretty solid on a struggling Coastal Carolina team. And then last night, in the middle of the John Calipari news, UIC transfer Isaiah Rivera also announced his commitment to DePaul. I really like both those. Rivera gives you a lot of scoring, a lot of shooting on the wing. Myers more of a combo guard, gives you some shooting, gives you some athleticism there. So I really like some of the pieces that Holtman's kind of putting together.
Yeah, definitely one of the biggest Isaiah Rivera fans out there.
Yes, he is
Love
good.
his game. He's gonna do pretty well, I think.
Yes. Holtman's Holtman's building up a roster. They have a
Mm-hmm.
starting five now. I think they have six guys, so they can run out a team um, after having no one back. Andrew Morgan, North Dakota State transfer. He has committed to Nebraska. Second North Dakota State transfer in recent memory to commit to Nebraska after Sam Griesel did a few years ago. And yeah, I think this is a pretty solid pickup. I would probably prefer him to be the backup five, but I think he is still a very solid piece. Was pretty good this year with the absence of Grant Nelson up in NDSU. So yeah, don't have any major takeaways, but I think this is a guy you definitely take and can give you
For
some
sure.
size, some physicality.
I think he could be a better Josiah Alec. We'll see.
Yeah, I could see that in a way. Alec wasn't that bad though. He was,
Yeah, he played his role. And
yeah,
so will Morgan.
yeah. That's it's a good comparison. Keanu Dawes, a Rice transfer. He is committed to Utah. I actually kind of like this pickup, even though Dawes only averaged he didn't average crazy numbers as a freshman on a struggling Rice team, but he
He's a
definitely
big time
has.
prospect.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he has a high major pedigree. Let me pull up his top six from high school. It was like Rice and a bunch of like big schools.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Probably
if I can,
Texas, you know.
yeah. Let me try to find that. But yeah, Dawes is someone that can translate athletically good and Utah, I don't think is a school that probably has a ton of NIL money. Um,
Yeah, no, it's interesting he's going to Utah, you know. They don't usually love athletes over there. So this is a different kind of direction, especially with him, Davion, last year. Maybe they're starting to adapt recruiting wise a little.
yes, trying to find his. Maybe I can find his top six. This might take a little bit longer than I thought. We can move on to the next one. That is Branson Chatfield from Seattle. He is committed to Iowa State. A really solid pickup. I think another guy's like not crazy, but like you know what you're gonna get. He's a pretty skilled scorer around the rim, I'd say. Pretty good movement for his size as well. Gives him
Yeah,
another
someone who
solid
was
big.
really high on him on our list. Even this kind
Yeah,
of
I know
surprised
I know
me.
you were really in on him, and I've
Iowa
I've started
State's
to go around. Yeah.
It's definitely a big spot for him, but back up big minutes, I think he's
Yes.
definitely going to be one of the guys they look to.
Yes, but yeah, Keanu Dawes top six was Oklahoma State, Texas, Utah. Yes, was in there, so there's that
Yeah.
connection. Texas A&M, Rice, and BYU. So
Okay.
he going back up to where he belongs, not major level, I would say. Lee Dort, Vanderbilt big man, has committed to Cal. I think he was in some legal trouble this year, some like domestic violence or some stuff. So,
hmm
something you don't really like to see, but I guess it adds decent big. He's a big guy, former four-star prospect, so can probably give Cal some nice minutes in the front court. I would assume all that legal stuff has been taken care of, considering he's off to Cal. So yeah. Speaking about Cal Baptist, they got Day Day Hall from Stephen F. Austin. Didn't play all the games this year. I think he was out for the back stretch of the season, but he's a very solid player. I think this is a pickup I like. Cal Baptist, they can really recruit over there,
They
and
can.
they showed that again. They can recruit a portal, internationals, but yeah, taking Hall from Stephen F. Austin, that's a really good forward that can. I think he might have been all conference in the WAC last year. So,
Hmm.
I mean, he gives you players you already know what you're getting out of in the league. Jonathan Beagle from Albany, he is off to Richmond. Pretty solid big man pickup for them. Another
I
guy was
love this
hurt.
fit.
Yes.
I think especially with how they can use centers as playmakers, Chris Mooney with all the cutting they do. I'm really intrigued to see how they use Spiegel, because Spiegel's another one of those bigs to where he's a very good skill set. So
Yes. I would agree with that as well. Daniel Ortiz going back to North Alabama, spent the first few years there, went to UAB and is back with the Lions.
I
Yeah, I
like
mean
it.
he can shoot the ball. He can shoot the ball. So
Definitely made sense for him to go back.
yeah,
Um, yeah, he didn't really get a ton of opportunities at
yeah. And
UAB,
he was fine at UAB,
and he
but
was in his role. I think being more of a featured option will be good for him though.
yes. Duncan Powell from Sacramento State. He is off to Louisiana. Really good athlete. Had a pretty solid year this year. Sacramento State wasn't that good, but definitely a pickup that I think is pretty solid.
Hmm.
Um, Tayshad Jackson from VMI has committed to Northern Colorado. Averaged double double this year. Solid pickup for Northern Colorado. VMI transfers. Everyone wants to get out of VMI. No one wants to be there. So Jackson had a very good season. So he is taking his talents elsewhere. Jacoby Hetty from Bethune-Cookman. He has committed to Central Michigan. Had a really good year for Bethune-Cookman. So
Hmm.
I think this is a pickup that I like. Tayshawn Comer, I know you really like him. He is committed to Evansville, and I think this is a good pickup.
I know. I definitely like that for Evansville. Okay.
Yes, few years of eligibility left, so
Who does Evansville still have?
I don't know
Humrights is
because
gone.
Humerkaus, yeah, he's gone. Um,
Strawbridge is gone.
yeah, he's gone. He wasn't that good this year, I don't think.
Yeah.
But
He had a bad
yeah,
year.
they'll get a good. Their coach really improved a lot this year, so
Hmm.
I think they'll be pretty decent going forward. Seth Hubbard from Western Michigan, he is committed to Toledo. Definitely gives the Rockets some more offense, which they're
I
big
like Seth
fans of.
Hubbard a lot. Yeah. He's
Big
good on
fans
both
of
ends.
offense over there. A few Pepperdine transfers off the board. Cord Stansberry to Western Carolina. This was a really random move, but I like it. I mean, he's decently athletic. 3 years left. I think he can be really good at Western Carolina.
For sure.
And then Malik Moore committed to Montana. Pepperdine just had so much talent, so I think these are still very good pickups, even though
No, for
these guys
sure.
didn't put up huge numbers on a not so good team. Two pickups that I like. And a few really good D2 guys off the board. Connor Dillon from Winona State. He is committed to Bradley. Really gives him some shooting, some good guard play. And then Garrison Kiesler from Walsh. He is committed to Chattanooga. I believe he is a forward, pretty skilled. So, yes, should be a good pickup for the Mocs. A few withdrawals from the portal. I know we were talking about this one the other day in reference to the coaching move. That is Mason Falslove. He is returned to Utah State, not going to Washington, not going to BYU, but he will
BYU.
be back at Utah State, playing for Jared Calhoun, who you don't like that much.
No,
I
no.
like him. I disagree with
I
you.
just gotta see how good of an actual coach he is. Yeah, especially this year was definitely the low point of his tenure. When they lost to Cleveland State without Tristan Enaruna at home in front of a sellout crowd. Everyone thought they'd win. And then they were sleepwalking for 40 minutes. They did not show up to play. They did not defend. Maybe the most hype moment of the game, something like cut the lead to 7, and they're like inciting the crowd. And
Yeah, I do
then it was
remember.
back to double digits. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, that was a tough game though.
Um,
I think Calhoun is going to be a good hire though.
okay.
He can really recruit. I mean,
Definitely. I mean, that's
Youngstown
not
State,
debatable.
yeah, but yeah, it's definitely a tougher league. Mountain West is tougher, so
And Utah States have been very spoiled with their hires, so
yes, I think
um, the
I,
bar's
I
high.
almost would have preferred him to like hire like Kowalczyk instead because like I don't think like he would probably be someone who just settles down there. Like I don't know if
Yeah,
you'd really want him in a high major, but like Calhoun,
I
if he
agree.
like succeeds, you're gonna want him in a high major.
Exactly. That's what you kind of worry
Like
about
I think
that
they
I
made
can
too good of a
see.
hire again, but
Um, yeah, I mean the Toledo coach isn't really the recruiter Calhoun is. So like at the same
no.
time, having a great recruiter at a job like that is immediate poach you worry about poaching.
Hmm.
Um, I definitely agree, even though I don't love Calhoun, that if they would have hired the Toledo coach, he probably is more likely to stay
Hmm.
because he's not. the recruiter Calhoun is.
Yes. And Earl Timberlake, he is back to Bryant. I liked his one because he's definitely an elite athlete for an America East, but his skill set is questionably translatable up to the high major level, back to high major level more as
Hmm.
where he spent a few years. But yeah, he is back at Bryant. Um, I like this.
Yeah, I like this for sure. Gives Phil Martelli Jr. something to build around again, so that's good.
Yes. Bryant, they get a lot of talent, and Timberlake is one of
For
those.
sure.
Interested to see how that changes. With obviously Martelli's like this will be like his first full off season of being the head coach. So yeah,
I'm curious where he goes talent wise. What regions he
yes,
targets, things like that.
yes. A few cut lists. UNC Greensboro transfer Mikael Brown Jones. He's down to Ole Miss, K State, and Pitt. Very good. Big man, 4 or 5. Really had a breakout year. Good score around the rim.
Random
Good
final three.
rebounder. Yeah, I like Kansas State here.
Yeah, okay, I can
Of
agree.
the three, that's where I think
I mean, I think Pitt is a shot too. I'm not gonna lie.
maybe. JP Pegues, Furman point guard. He cut his list to Auburn, Florida, Oklahoma, and South Carolina. Um, I like either Auburn or Florida in this one.
Florida's just got their straw on so many different guards again, man.
Yeah,
Like,
but I think Pegues would be a really good one. I think he's
he will
probably
be.
the priority for Florida. I could
He'd be a
definitely
priority
see.
over Frankie Collins, I'd say.
Oh yeah. I would definitely take Pegues. Pegues gives you a ton on offense, can really score, can really shoot, can really distribute. Um, and yeah, I think he'd be pretty good at
Of
Florida.
course, I've expressed that I'm not the biggest PE fan, but like under
Yeah.
a coach that can elevate guards like Todd Golden can, I think he'll make the transition as smooth as it can be. Although I will say I do want Florida to like improve defensively, and I don't know how much that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um, we'll see. We'll see with that.
Yes, we will see. Deshane Montgomery, a Mount St. Mary's transfer, he cut his list to USC, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. And a pretty funny thing about this list is because Mount St. Mary's, they played Georgia and Ole Miss this year, and Montgomery scored like 23 and 22 against both those teams. And they
Yeah,
saw something they liked because they're
that's the
they're all in
reason
on
they're
him
in.
now. Um,
He is really good. I love Shane
yes,
Montgomery.
yes. He is so good. He's gonna be I mean, he can really get to the
I
rim.
think he goes to USC.
I kind of think so too. Arkansas was really in on
They
him.
were.
And
Um,
they recruit everyone, but like they don't actually recruit everyone. And they were like actually recruiting him.
they'll uh they'll throw a lot at him. You'd be surprised.
Yes. And they need some pieces. I think he's more than capable of playing at a high major level. Elite defender, can get to the rim, all that
Hmm.
fun stuff. So I kind of think USC too, but like I not like super confident about that. But Myron Amy Jr., San Jose State transfer, he's down to Loyola Marymount, Cal, Creighton, and Butler. Um, I don't know. I don't
I think it's
know.
a two-team race here. I think it's Loyola Marymount or Cal. I don't
That makes
entirely.
sense.
I think he goes to Cal.
I
I think
was kind of thinking that as well.
Matson definitely needs some guards with guys graduating, and yeah, they definitely lose a lot this year. So I wouldn't be complaining about it all. MJ Amy's a good player.
Yes, absolutely. Um, Maybe Butler because I feel like Mata just like doesn't have as much NIL, so he's just like over evaluating everyone for these guys.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
Amy is really good. I definitely think he goes to one of the California schools, though. It seems a lot more likely. I agree with your opinions there. Marcus Warwick, Northern Kentucky transfer, he's cut his list down to USC, Missouri, Seton Hall, Penn State, and Cincinnati. I think he's Cincinnati bound.
Okay, yeah, this is a random list. I don't know how the heck we made this final five. I mean, I'll take him. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, but I'd take him. Um, I'm going to say Mizzou. I
Okay.
just think this is
They
a
have money.
guy that Dennis Gates will like to target, with the shot creation ability. I could see Cincy too.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
he's Northern Kentucky is basically in Cincinnati.
right. You go to
He's
the rival
from
school.
yeah,
And they usually play each other. They play each other they played each other this year.
yeah.
I think they played each other the year before.
I
So,
mean their coach left back when they had Brandon. He made the move there. So did like Chris Vogt.
mhm.
But yeah,
Could be seen all too. We'll see all.
I don't know. I probably not Seton
It's just
Hall.
the
Maybe
list is
though.
just so
They
random.
they
So
made his
random.
list. Yeah. Clark Slacker, he cut his list down to a Penn transfer. He cut his list down to Cal, USC, UCLA, Davidson, Stanford, San Francisco, Utah State, and Michigan. I'm definitely thinking one to California schools for him, like maybe like Cal, UCLA, Stanford, one of those. Stanford needs some guys. They don't have like
Yeah, I
anyone,
don't
and they can't
entirely
recruit
see
either.
Cal and USC personally.
Why not? I think Cal could be a.
Yeah, he can have a big role at Cal.
I don't really think USC. Maybe UCLA. I feel
Maybe.
like he just seems like a UCLA guy. He
I
came off
see
the bench
Stanford
there.
for sure. Stanford's
Yeah,
probably my favorite.
I agree. Like
Don't
where I
sleep
wanted to
on him
go.
going to the mid-major level at Davidson, Utah State. I
Yeah,
think
Davidson would be good. Davidson would
those
be
are
a really good
names I
fit for
wouldn't
his play
sleep
style.
on. But
Yes, but Stanford, they need some guys.
they
I don't
do.
know how Kyle Smith is going to put a roster together because he has like four players in the roster. Like none of them are
Sucks,
that
man.
good. Like their best player right now is like Benny Geeler, who was a walk on, average like 4 points a game. Like he can't recruit from the portal. Like
It sucks, man. He says
it's
it's
gonna
his
be a build
dream
up.
job. He does. He said
It's
that
gonna be a
multiple
build up.
times, but like,
I think you can definitely win at Stanford, but I don't think you can like turn them around in year one if they have no one. Hopefully, you can get some guys back. Or like if we can get like Reno back somehow, or like
I'd be a fan of that. I'd
Stoyakovich.
love to see Reno back.
Yeah, Kyle Smith needs some guys. But yeah, those are all the cut lists, withdrawals, transfers that went places in the past few days. So yeah, now we're gonna go down to the top transfers that have entered the portal in the past 2 days or past few days. This is going back when we recorded last episode, all the way up to the portal editions of yesterday. So it does not count guys that entered today, but there have already been some good guys that entered today. Just if you don't want to wait around until that episode drops, like guys like Umar Ballo, Aaron Bradshaw, a few really big names. But yeah, we will not rank those guys because we already had our rankings made and stuff. So um, do you have any honorable mentions?
No, I mean it's a really short list.
Yes, a lot of good players, but not a ton of players to pick from overall. I'll just have a few honorable mentions. I have Carter Lang as an honorable mention. Vanderbilt freshman wasn't that good, but was a solid enough recruit and has 3 years left. Started a few games this year. Um, Josiah Davis from Tennessee Tech put up some solid numbers this year. Wasn't overly efficient. I think he was a walk on at West Virginia last year. I don't know if he was on scholarship there or not, but definitely a player that's going to be a solid player at the mid-major level wherever he goes. Prince of League Bay, another guy. I was in his breakout. That didn't really happen, so that's why I didn't have him ranked. But I think he can still maybe have a little bit of potential there to unlock. So, do you want to start with 15?
Yeah, 15 guys say key. Um,
Really?
not someone I
That's
like very much.
I
Can't
could
defend.
tell.
Um, didn't he lost a lot of playing time this year, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't yeah. That was a lot because Okpara really
Yeah,
like
he's a much
um
better defender.
you're
He's
right there.
just I don't know. Like if you start him, you have to deal with that. Like, and I don't
Yeah.
really. I think he's a bench big at the high major level. If
Yeah.
that, like, you know, he's pretty efficient, I guess. But
Yeah. I mean, he's like physical. He's just like not like super athletic. I mean, he's not athletic at all. Um Good rebounder.
yeah,
Physical again, but again, like you're gonna beat him. He's not gonna like out race you. He's not very
I
quick,
just it's just
so
weird where he fits. I don't
Yeah.
know where he's gonna go.
I have him at 9 though. Like it's weird because like I think he like is good enough to like have a role on like about any team in the country, but at the same time, like I don't know what it's gonna look like where he wants to go.
Yeah,
But I mean he's pretty efficient, good rebounder on both sides,
gotta see his
decent rim
interest list.
protector. But yeah, he obviously does have his limitations.
Then he's got a year left, right?
Yes. So yeah, I'm a 9. There are pros and cons of adding him. Number 15 though, I have Dallin Coleman, Debo Coleman from Georgia Tech. Doesn't do a ton, but has been a solid player for the past few years. Um, can stretch the floor a little bit. Solid defensive piece on the wing. Again, doesn't give you a ton, but I think he's been a fine high major player the past few years, and
I
maybe
think
could
he's
be
a mid
that.
plus.
Probably, I would lean towards him being a mid plus guy, but
Did
yeah,
not finish or shoot well this year. So,
no, no, not necessarily. Did you have him on your list? Yeah.
at
Um,
14, I Trey Broadnax from USC Upstate.
okay.
Um,
I actually forgot to put him on here. He would have
really
been at
solid
least on my
guard.
honorable mentions.
He got with Gainey there last year. He had
No,
a
he's
pretty
actually
solid
really
role.
good. I did
Um,
forget to put him on here. Just pretend
Broadnax
I
is
had
a
him like,
player I like. I wanted to put him higher. He just Oh,
yeah.
there's just guards I like in this list, and guards with a lot of years of eligibility where
He
I could
still has
see them,
two.
where I could see certain guards above him and being in
Hmm.
much better places and
Yes.
being a lot better. So
Yeah. Broadnax has been really good since he went to USC Upstate, though.
yeah,
So decent efficiency. Pretty big for a point guard and good facilitator.
Man, he's got good size. I think he is a high major player. I do.
Mm, I don't think
Maybe
so.
not at a great high major, but I do think he can
I
make the
probably, if
jump.
I were him, I probably wouldn't go to a high major.
Yeah, I mean he's going to be off the bench
Yeah,
if he
I
wants
think he can
that.
be solid in a mid major though. I
That's
think he's
true.
a solid player. Number 14, I have Kobe Elvis from Dayton. Um, was pretty solid on a very good Dayton team this year. Decent shooter. Not super finished from inside the arc. That's not a great thing, but good passer as well. Solid combo guard. I think maybe he can play a high major, maybe he stays in the mid plus level. I mean, formerly played DePaul as a freshman. He was solid there. So yeah, I think he's a pretty decent take.
I think he's a mid plus, but I don't think
Yeah.
he's a high major player.
I
Six
mean,
one,
I don't really think he's a high
doesn't
major
shoot
player,
well
but
at
I mean
all.
he was like playable at DePaul as a freshman, and that's also DePaul, but like he was decent enough.
Yeah, I expect a little more out of him this year. I was a bit underwhelmed.
Yeah, I'm not huge on him, but I think he's definitely very solid player.
Can't go wrong with him, I guess.
No.
Their
Um,
team, you might find this debatable, but I think besides the last name, he's 6'8", he's a freshman. I think he could play somewhere that's not under his father and be decent. And it's Ashton Hardaway.
okay.
Um,
I didn't have my list, but I see the appeal.
um, yeah, I just don't, Penny's his dad's just not a good coach, so I'd like to see where he goes. And I think with this size, how much eligibility he is left,
He can
he could be
shoot
a
it for his
solid
size too.
forward. Yeah, like
He,
somewhere.
he he's a shooter. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I do like that he transferred though. Like,
I do. So thank goodness
might
he's
as
not
well
still
just
there.
like, yeah, might as well just see what you can do. In like a better role, maybe probably mid plus.
Yeah, I could
Um,
see that.
I would say, but yeah,
I
he
think
could
he wants to
be.
be a featured option, so.
Yeah, if he's good, he'll just go back to Memphis.
Right. Yeah, it'll be some crap like that.
But yeah, I think he can be a solid pickup. Number 13, another guy. It's been to high major level, but didn't really do much. So there's a lot of eligibility left. And that is Freddie DeLeon. I thought he was going to be pretty good this year at Tennessee. He didn't really do much.
Yeah.
Um, he didn't really play that much at all.
I mean, they're such a
But
deep team.
Yeah, but I would still definitely take him at like a mid plus, especially maybe even a high major. Like he was only a freshman. I think he was a really highly regarded recruit.
Yeah, 4-star, top 50.
Yes, coming from a good system as well. 3 years of eligibility. Good athletically, good in
I got him at 8.
physicality.
Yeah,
Okay, I definitely see it. Just kind of don't know what we're getting, but yes, he has a lot of potential.
for sure. Um, at 12, guy, I see a lot of potential in. They started to play well towards the end of the season. Is Finlay Bisjack from Butler.
Okay, I had him at 8.
Someone I think he's going to be a
He's
really good player
he's gonna
somewhere.
be really good.
Um,
I am a big Finley Bishak guy.
where do you see him? Mid plus or
I don't
high
know. He's from
major?
Texas. I think like some of the Texas high major schools could use him, like TCU.
They need
Actually, I
shooting,
think
and he's a shooter.
yeah, wasn't like overly efficient, but definitely has the ability to shoot the ball. Think once he gets in a better system, maybe gets more minutes,
Hmm.
more comfortable. But yeah, if he would have stayed at Butler, I think he would have averaged like double digits next year.
For
Like
sure. I
he
agree.
was due for a breakout. I think he's still gonna have that breakout. It's just gonna be elsewhere. But yeah, I am big on him. I think he will be really good. Number 12 though, I had a Leon Bond, another guy. Um, with a lot of eligibility left. Coming from Virginia, obviously you're going to get a good athlete out of him. Good energy. Like the 3-4 can't shoot at all, which is one thing I don't love. But good defender. Yeah, I mean he didn't really see too many minutes down the stretch. I don't know if he was hurt or wasn't playing, but he was decent in the start of the season. And yeah, he'll give you a lot on defense.
Yeah. Okay. Number 11, got someone in the stock has definitely fallen in everyone's eyes, but it's Elijah Martin. Um,
Really, I had him at 2. We can discuss that later or
the
now.
season wasn't as bad as I thought it was,
Yeah, like looking back, his
but
like
like,
efficiencies, like it was obviously a major disappointment considering like what people thought he could be, but like he wasn't that bad. He was just like disappointing. Like he wasn't overly inefficient. He was still
yeah,
really good on defense.
was
Um,
he? I mean,
I
FAU's
mean, he
defense
was
was
he
like
was
an
good. Okay, you're
all-time
right. You're right.
bad
You're right.
this
You're
year.
right. You're right. But he was
Way
he was a
worse
good
than
defensive
last year.
piece. He was a good defensive piece. You're right about that. But he was I think he was their best defensive, one of their better defensive players
Probably.
at
I
least.
mean,
Very physical. Yeah, again, he was
he's
disappointing, but
only
like
what, a year left.
yeah. But when you look back at his stats, like he wasn't as bad
They
as
aren't as
you would
bad as
think.
I thought, but like
So,
at the same
and he'll be healthy. Like
time,
he wasn't healthy. Like that was a big reason why
yeah, he
um,
wasn't healthy early
he was
on at
like
all.
that. He, I think, did he play every? Yeah, he played all the games, but the start of the season he was not healthy. He
He's
was
also
hurt in the
way
off
smaller
season.
than I thought he was. He's
He's
6'2".
physical though. He plays a
That's
lot bigger
crazy.
than 6'2".
He it's true. You
He's
think
like a
he's
three.
6'6" the way he plays.
You would think that, yeah. But I have
Um,
him at 2. I think
eh,
if he gets healthy, he can be like an all conference player at the high major level.
mm-hmm.
Um, Wonder if he goes to Michigan, wonder if he goes somewhere else, but I think he can
We'll
be
see if he has the
really
marks
good.
to get into Michigan.
He should be a grad
Oh, that's right.
transfer.
He's a grad. Yeah.
So if he's a grad, he should be fine.
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
I had him at 2 though. I think especially when he's healthy, you're gonna get a lot out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, number 11, I have Claudell Harris Jr. from Boston College. Had a very solid year this year,
Yeah.
honestly.
Way better than I thought he'd be.
Yeah, yeah, he actually was pretty good. Good shooter. Um, a solid scoring guard.
I got him at 10, so you know what?
Yeah,
Whatever. One spot
like
off hurt.
I think maybe mid plus, maybe still high major. Yeah, I think he can be a really good player. Um,
For
yeah,
sure.
really good at year for Boston College. Didn't really know what we were getting out of him coming from Charleston Southern, but I think he exceeded our expectations. Just a lot of
Definitely.
the guys in the list are just so young and
Hmm.
like ahead of him, like just so young, maybe a little bit better. But yeah, I still think he can be a very solid player. Pretty sure thing. You kind of know what you're getting out of him. So
Mm-hmm. Can
yeah,
shoot the ball.
yes, yes. Number 10.
Yeah, number 10 is
Oh
Ryan
yeah, you're right. You're
Claudel.
right. You're right. Number 10 is where I had Jack Clark. Don't know
Okay.
how he still has eligibility left. He actually does. Um,
Entries.
assuming he got a medical red shirt just 1 year, but
Yeah.
he's been in the college game for a minute, and he's a very good defender. That's why you're taking him. He's an elite defender, and that's why I think a lot of schools could use him. He was big. He really stepped into his role once he got healthy. Was a big starter for Clemson down the stretch. Was huge in their tournament games. Shoots a lot more threes than you would like, considering he's not that actually good at making them.
Yeah, he's not the best
Um,
3-point
but he
shooter.
gives you some athleticism, some length, a lot of
He's
length.
good in the mid range. I think he needs to take more mid
Yeah,
ranges.
he
He's got
takes way
six.
too many
He's
threes
six
though.
eight. He's got height. He can hit those.
Yeah, he
I
shot
don't.
like a
He's never
career
been
like.
a 3-point shooter. Jack
Well,
Clark
he is
actually.
a 3-point shooter, but he's not. He like tries to be a 3-point
Jack
shooter.
Clark actually went to high school like 15 minutes away from me. So he was like a year maybe younger than me. So he's
Yeah,
definitely been around for a little while.
he has.
He's had injury problems since high school. Always been this insane prospect of what he could be, being
Hmm.
6'8". I mean, he went to LaSalle for a couple of years. They thought
Yeah,
they were getting, their next star there. He'd be the number one option, and then he got hurt, and then he wasn't even really that good at LaSalle because of his injury, and then,
yeah.
um, yeah, he's had a very eventful career. Um,
But he could be a really good high major defensive piece. Just
yeah, I got him
maybe
at
maybe
5.
tone it down a little from
Hmm.
three. Yes. So yes, number nine. Who do you have?
I have Prince Felipe.
Okay,
And I
okay. I mean,
think.
yeah.
Boston College offensively was a very inconsistent team. His role was very odd. Um,
Yeah,
they had
he's
Jaden Zachary, they
yeah.
had Claudel Harris, and then they were trying to play him off ball, but he's not an off ball player.
He just didn't really change from his freshman year.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean he's not an off ball shooter. I think he's
no, he's not a shooter at all.
I think he's a defensive guy. I think that's his
Mm.
calling card. 6'7", got great height. He reminds me, of
Pretty
Jack
decent
Clark a little
physicality.
bit, like
Yeah, different
being that
players.
defensive calling card.
Yeah, different
Obviously he's not
players.
the athlete that Jack
No,
is,
not
but
even close. But yeah,
I think he can hang his hat on that end, and I think he could stay high major.
yeah. He's another Minnesota guy. There's so many guys from Minnesota in the portal. They're not going to get any of them, but
They're
like,
not. They're not. No, they're
it's
not.
just how it works. But I don't know, just throwing it out there. I like to mention anytime guys from Minnesota because there's so many good guys from Minnesota.
Great
And Ben
basketball
Johnson gets
state.
done. And Ben Johnson's losing the guys he had in his roster from Minnesota, like Pharrell Payne, Joshua Ella Joseph. They're both from
Terrible.
Minnesota and they're both leaving. But that's
Minnesota had a
just
solid season this year. I wonder why they're leaving.
beats me. Everyone likes topping the portal these days. Test what's out there. Number nine is right at Zed Keto.
Okay. 8 is right alone.
Bizek at eight.
7, I have Vince Uichukwu.
Okay, I had him at five.
Yeah, he's somebody who, we thought he'd have a much better season, and to an extent, he did. Um,
Yeah.
he didn't do a ton scoring wise, but like, he didn't play a ton, and USC was an absolute dumpster fire.
Are you
Um,
concerned that he didn't play a ton in Absolute Dumpster Fire?
a little bit, but they also had Josh Morgan. Um,
Yeah, he was good.
and he was always good. So he was never going to play over Josh Morgan. I don't think those two ever could have coexisted. So,
No.
um, I get it to an extent. I think he can play at a high major somewhere else
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
being hopefully a starter. I want to see him start.
Maybe. But yeah, he's really good defensively, good rebounder, good rim protector, solid offensively as well. Had his moments up and
USC
downs.
honestly might have been a little better off starting him some games defensively because of how
Morgan was
bad
so
that
good defensively though. Like
Yeah, he's
they would
just a
have
little
started him over
undersized.
Morgan.
Morgan's
Eh,
like a
not Morgan
4.
was like a top five rim protector in the country based
Yeah.
on block percentage.
I guess it was
Morgan
more
was
of their
elite.
perimeter defense that was an issue then.
Yeah, that was. See what? Yeah, they were 70. That is crazy. They were 78th defensively in the country, and they with Morgan and Kobe Johnson. Like that.
Right.
If that doesn't show you how bad some of the other pieces were.
Bronny, Collier,
Speaking
Collier.
about Bronny, though, I have him at seven.
Okay.
I
I got
didn't
him at
really know where
3.
to put him. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. I didn't
tough
know what to
wild
do
card.
because he's another guy that was like he was bad this year, but like that was he didn't have an off season. Like he
Yeah,
went in a cardiac arrest in the middle of the off season. Like you can't really judge. I feel like it's hard to judge what he did this season based on that when like he just didn't have
you
that
forget about
introductory
that.
period. Couldn't really get used to the team. Like
And
was
I'll
kind of
tell you,
thrown into the
being
rotation.
especially being a first year player,
Yes, and like who he
the
is,
pace of
like
the Division One level is a whole different animal from even the best high schools.
mm-hmm.
Um, and especially you got to get back in shape.
Yeah.
The D1 level is so fast, especially the way USC like to play with Collier. Um, I think he just didn't get his legs under him for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
He started to play better towards the end of the season, I'd say.
Yeah, he had his
He had his
games.
games. But yeah, I'm really curious to see where he goes or if he just declares straight up.
I think he should
I
definitely
think it wouldn't be
transfer.
wise for him to declare, but
We'll see.
there's
There
other reasons for him to stay in
yes.
the draft, and that is
Yeah.
because LeBron.
Yes. I do
Um,
think though, like if he was like just like a normal guy with like all the same rankings and stuff, like we probably wouldn't really care that he was bad this year because like you wouldn't expect him to be good after
right.
not really being healthy to off season, having to take some time away from basketball and stuff like that. But I think he can be really good. I think we got to get him to Duquesne. It
We
has to
do.
happen. It has to
True
happen.
choice, man.
Like that would
Number one
be
option. That would
like
be so
honestly though, like
fire.
if he ends up like transferring, which I think he should, like I feel like he should be
He does
smart
need
enough to
another
realize that
year.
he's just like not ready. Like where else would he go? Like I mean, that seems like the most likely
And if you
option
want
in
to
my
raise your
opinion.
stock, you want to be a main option somewhere. You want
Hmm.
to show all your skills off. And he'd be able to do that at a mid-major
Yeah.
like Duquesne. He
And I
would.
think he's like just like putting all that stuff aside, I think he's honestly going to be a really good player. Like he
No,
can
I
do a
love
little bit of
Bronny.
everything,
I'm a big
good on
fan.
defense,
Great all-around player, just
can
like his dad.
facilitate a little bit. Offensive game struggled, but that was a lot because of not being ready, all that stuff. But he's a pretty solid shooter, I'd say, when he
His
can.
shooting has improved a lot since high
Yeah.
school. I think
Yes.
um,
Yeah, I think he can be pretty good, but again, is a guy that you don't really know where you're getting out of him to a certain extent, but I like him. I like him a lot.
six, or you seven, right?
Yeah, Bronny was 7.
Okay, so it's six. I got Selton McGill.
Okay, I had him at
South
3.
Florida. Had a great season. Really came out of, I won't say nowhere, but he definitely came onto the scene, was
He
an
was way
elite.
better than he ever had been, even though he always
Yeah,
got playing time everywhere he'd been.
he
Like
was an elite second option next to
he
Chris
was
Youngblood.
bad when he was on Kansas State a few years ago.
He
But
was.
he was
He was
he
really
was
good.
really good this year. Could really shoot the ball. Um, and yeah, was in that 6-man role. Started only one game all year, but was getting like really good starter minutes. That was what was working best for him. Was scoring double digits like about every game this season, minus a few, and he was really good. I think he's ready to move back up to high major level. Really saw some shooting that we never really seen from him before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good. I think he'd be good in that same role that he was in this year, which is like the spark plug off the bench.
Hmm.
Maybe he plays a little bit less minutes off the bench at a high major school, but he was really good. And the big reason why South Florida was so good in conference play, he
Hmm.
really turned it on then. Um, but yeah, number 6, I had a guy that I really like, and that is Cam Manuel. Um, he had a big year at Wyoming as a freshman. He really showed me a lot that I
I
am
love Cam Manio. Yeah, he's great.
really, really excited for his potential. Really good rebounder, really good defender,
Good
really efficient
finisher.
around the rim. I think he's going to go to Drake. That would make too much sense. The assistant that recruited him left to go to Drake. They have a new coach. They have a lot of spots to fill. Um, a lot
Man,
closer
if
to
you're a
home in
Power
Wyoming.
Five, like, why wouldn't you offer him
Oh,
though? Like,
I would
he's
want him, but
right.
I think
Like,
he should go to Drake. That would be great.
but yeah. I have him at four. I'm a big
Okay.
Cam Manio fan.
Okay, man. Yes, he is good.
Got Jack Clark at five,
Okay, I have Vince at 5.
and I got Cam at four.
Okay, number 4, I have T.Y. Johnson from UC Davis. he had a really good season this year. Last year he was like really good, but like pretty inefficient. Did a lot of stupid
Mm,
things, turned the ball over a lot. And this year I feel like he just kind of did the same stuff, but got a little bit better. Like he lessened his
mm.
turnovers, got a little bit more efficient from the field.
He's
Still not
amazing.
still
I
not a
love him.
great shooter, but improved there a little bit. Yeah, really became better passer. Um, Pretty
So quick
solid.
off the dribble.
Yes.
I have him at 2. I think he's gonna
Okay.
be a real steal for a high major if he wants to do that, which I think he will. He's just a great shot creator.
Maybe DePaul. He went to DePaul Prep High School. He could
Oh, I would love him at the Hall. Oh
that
my
would be good.
goodness.
Yeah, and I think he can definitely compete at the high major level, like athletically. He's
For
quick
sure. He's a
enough,
really good athlete.
can defend good enough. So
Hmm.
yeah, I really like his potential. Um, so yeah.
3 at Bronny.
Okay. Selton Miguel at 3.
2 is right. Ty Johnson.
And I had Elijah Martin at 2, and then
Number 1. I got
looks
Tremont
like
Mark.
we both have Shimon Mark at number 1. Who knows
Which
if he's
is
even who knows if he's even going to be in the portal?
right. I mean, he
Because
could
he
just go
entered
right
yesterday, or
back.
he didn't even like enter the portal yet. He just like said he was going to enter. So, for all we know, and there's a very good chance he just decides to not enter the portal because he's going to be coached by one of the most famous coaches of all time. Even though maybe Calipari, maybe his X's and O's fell off the charts a little bit. In that sense, he still can really get guys to the league. I
Hmm.
think Tremont Mark is a guy who can find himself in NBA. At some point. He
Yeah, and
impressed me so much this year. Arkansas was so
we
bad, but
both
like
did not like him coming in.
no, because he was a
And
shot checker at Houston and he was like he just like took bad shots. Like of course he's an elite defender coming from Houston. Like that was like
and
what
I'll
I was
be
excited
honest, he
about.
did still take bad shots at Arkansas, but here's the difference.
He
They
made
went
them.
in.
Yeah. And like as bad as Arkansas was, like he was a guy that was really, really good shot
Fishing.
maker the whole season. Yeah, efficient considering the volume of shots. He really did better, in my opinion, at getting to the rim, drawing contact. Houston, I feel like just took like a lot of bad threes, where like it's like bad shots overall. And he really
Arkansas
started,
spreads teams out, and I think
yeah,
that really helped
really
Tremont.
started to get into the rim a lot. And yeah, he was really good all season. Had a few like really good games in non-conference play. I remember that
Hmm.
game versus North Carolina, even though they kind of got worked by North Carolina. He was really good. He ended up getting hurt at the end of the game, but he ended up being fine in the long run. And yeah, he had a really good season. I don't even know if he's going to be in the portal, but like
Yeah, I don't
if
either.
he is, like I would really wonder.
He's gonna.
He is really good. And yeah, he's still going to give you that defense, even if he goes back to his inefficient offensive ways. Like you're still going to find a use for him,
Hmm.
which, um, yeah. Anything else to say about Mark or any of the guys that we talked about?
That's it.
Yeah. Let's look over some of the other names. What do we think about Lance Ware? You a big Lance Ware fan?
There you go.
Silence is very loud in that case.
Although, like, I
Lance
could
Ware,
see
the
him
best the best
going to
backup,
like
big four hundred
Temple's got
thousand
interest in
can.
him apparently.
Yeah, he would be fine at Temple. I just
Uh,
can never get past the fact how much money he got this year. He got like I don't know exactly. I think it was like either 300 or 400K to do nothing. He was terrible. With all due
he was a
respect,
moving screen setter.
yes, I have heard he is like a good locker room guy though. That's like the one positive. So yeah, Arnson Page from USC is actually pretty good. I could have had on my list. Another freshman who didn't do a ton, but good recruit, good size. Let's see. Who else do we have? Yes, yeah, I mean, there's not really a ton of guys overall. There's kind of good caliber at the top. Roosevelt Wheeler, he was never that good.
Yeah, I know I heard of the name, but
He
I
was
looked
he
them
was like a
up. I'm
Louisville
like,
recruit. He was like top 100, but didn't really play at VCU this year. So I
no, he
think
didn't.
think it's not looking too bright for him.
Hmm.
Cale Combs, another freshman from Wyoming.
I like him. I think he's actually pretty
Yes,
good.
I
He
think he's
played
another guy
minutes
that could
too.
go to Drake maybe. James Okonkwo, North Carolina. He can be a good rim protector.
Yeah.
At least I think he could do that. Isaiah Gaines, FAU backup. He played a little bit last year, didn't play too much this year.
Mm.
Anyone else that we missed? I don't think so. Andre Tamba played at Tennessee a few years. He didn't play at Tennessee, but he was at Tennessee a few years ago. Now he's at Weber State. Now he's back in the portal now. But yeah, Jared Hyder, not that great of a player, but average double digits at Cal Poly. Can pass the
Sir.
ball a little bit, but his efficiency is not great.
No,
Yeah, that's about it. The Calipari news still shocks me so much. Like
it
I,
does.
I I don't know, because there were some rumors like leading up to it, but like
It all
I
came
didn't think it
on
would
like just
actually
all at
happen.
once,
Yeah, like there were
like,
like rumors like, oh, like some people are saying Calipari, but like I don't think it's actually gonna happen. But then like
and then it happened.
last night I was at like Bible study and like didn't have my phone in or anything, and I checked and like people are like, this is real. Like I'm like, this is real. Like I was hearing Chris Jans like 2 hours ago, but I don't know. It's
Gonna
it's a
be
crazy,
eventful.
crazy world. And then this is all started because SMU fired Rob Lanier after they increased their win total, doubled their win total in year two, won 20
Yeah,
games.
apparently the whole situation with how that went about with Muss and
I
Muss's
mean, it trickled
sister
down. Enfield to SMU, Must USC, Calipari to Arkansas.
really
Who's going to go to
screwed up
Kentucky?
situation.
Yes,
Kentucky, we still think it's Billy Donovan, but we'll see.
maybe if he wants it, he should get it.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah. I don't know who else would get it. I know Mark Pope always seems to be in the mix whenever they talk about Kentucky opening. I think he'd be a good coach there, but I don't think that they would take the risk of hiring him.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would think he'd be good, but I don't know. Maybe it's a little too much of a risk, especially if you have Billy Donovan on the table. I feel like Scott Drew's always mentioned when people talk about that opening, but I don't know. You definitely try to get Billy Donovan. Make him say no. Make like Danny Hurley say no too.
Hmm.
Like you got to do it. I think he will say no, but you got to make him say no. Like
Yeah, you gotta
can't just
offer it.
leave that potential opportunity on the table. But yeah, I don't really got anything else to say. So
Solar eclipse time.
yeah, don't look at it. Don't look at it with your eyes, which probably won't be a good point because this podcast will probably be released after it's over. But yeah, don't go blind today.
Yep,
Um, is it like close to where you're at? I know it's
I think it might be.
like
I don't know.
I don't know. It's not like super close to here, but like I think you can see like part of it, which um I saw the one in happened like 7 years ago, and
Yeah, there was.
I wasn't like in the complete darkness. It was pretty it was pretty disappointing, honestly. If you're not in like the area where it's like completely dark,
Right.
it was just like oh, it's like 99% dark, but it's like not really that dark outside. Like
Hmm.
it was a little underwhelming, but yeah. My roommate's actually going down to watch it, so hopefully that'll be fun. But yeah, I think that's about it for the Portal Bonanza podcast. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter at Hoopscoop Media. Would really appreciate follows on any of those platforms. You fans are the reason that we were able to keep putting out content. Yeah, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't already. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to give us a thumbs up, turn on post notifications, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff would be greatly appreciated. If you're listening to this on the podcast platforms, make sure to give those a 5-star rating. Also, comments if you can leave them based on the podcast platform you're listening on. Those would also be greatly appreciated. And yeah, no episode tomorrow because the final four championship game is tonight. So we will not be recording tonight. Probably have another episode for you guys in 2 days, but after that, like it's gonna be portal, portal, portal. Everyone will know about the portal. There will only be talks about the portal. So yeah. I mean, hopefully we can get some more listeners coming in. Like, oh, like
Yeah,
the guys that are like still like focused on the season. Like, it's time for the portal. Tell your friends to listen to the podcast.
yeah.
Um, yeah. But yeah, we will see you in 2 days for next episode of Portal Bonanza. Thanks for listening.